Hello everyone, welcome back to my Python UI application series. In this video we will be continuing from previous one where we learned how to load data from our SQLite database and show it into tableWidget when we press our push button like this. Okay, so today we will be inserting our data in our SQLite database with fields that will be shown in our UI application. So let's start. First thing you need to do is change our UI. So first you won't be needing this load data button anymore because we will load our data at the start of our application. So let's change that first. So instead of calling this this click listener, I will comment it out and call load data at the end of our code, so it will actually be called when application starts. And let's try and run that. Our data will be loaded at the start, and now we can change that button to insert data. Okay, and we also have to insert some fields. But let's check first our database again. If you remember, we have ID, name, and year and admin, I think, but let's check it for sure. Yes, ID, name, year, and admin. And since we have ID as auto increment, we won't be needing that one. So we'll only need name, year, and admin. And you have to make sure that you know which type are those attributes. Name is text, year is integer, and admin is integer. So let's add line edit for our name, and for date I will use line edit, even though you can use date edit, which is right here. But as you can see, it also contains words or characters for a month, and since I have year as integer in database, I'll make my life easier and use line edit. But for admin, even though I have integer, I can use checkbox, which represents only true or false. And I will check this value in code and set it to 1 or 0 in database. I can also rename that text right here to admin and rename name of our line edit date, line edit underscore date, like that. I will save my UI and go back to my main code. I will create function called add user, which will be called from our listener that we commented out previously. So let's call add user right here. And here we will have to get our data from our fields that we just created in our UI. So first we have name, which will go from edit.text, and then we have year or date, doesn't matter how you call your variables. It's dlg.lineEdit.txt, and then we have admin, which is our checkbox. So dlg.lineEdit, not lineEdit, checkbox, and then not .text but .isChecked. Okay, and here we need to convert our boolean, which is currently stored in admin, into integer. So I will define another variable called a and set it to 0, and then I'll write if statement if admin, which means if admin is equal to true, set a to 1. I think this is really simple trick you can use. And now, just for making sure that we get our data correctly, we will print everything out. So name, date, and a, whoops, and a, like that. Okay, so nothing should be printed out right now, but when I click when I fill our fields first, so here should be name, here should be date and admin, let's leave it to 0 right now. Okay, something is wrong, so I probably mistyped somewhere. Let's open our main again. Date line edit underscore date, this is one mistake. Checkbox admin. Okay, let's try that printing separately each one, so we'll know where is our mistake. So date and a, and print that out. Okay, now it works. I probably mistake was in our a, which was integer, and I tried to combine them into string, so I would have to convert it into string first. Okay, but now everything works. I have correct types for every element. So now, actually I don't have, I have to convert the date to integer, since I have it as integer in our database, but I'll do it later. I hope I won't forget. So now I can delete those print statements and start with inserting in database. So another thing we have to change is our helper is in low data, so it won't work for add user, so I have to move it outside our functions like this. Now I can use our helper, so I will call helper dot, I have to open it to check my functions. Yeah, edit is for inserting and updating our data, so helper dot edit, and then I will type our SQL statement, insert into users, which values we have, name, year and admin, and values will be, so here you have multiple choices how you want to insert those values. You could do it like this, to close your quotation marks and add plus signs, and here type name, and then you have to type another single quotes here, and then comma, and so on. But this is not very secure and very practical way, so I'll show you another one, which is to add question marks like this, and then here pass a tuple. But since we have this edit function our own, not the cursor.execute, we have to modify it as well. But if I modify our SQLite helper in here function edit, our function edit won't work, so we have to make separate function for insert and update. So first thing, I will copy my edit function and paste it right below it, and rename one of those to insert. I will also change my comment, because comments are really important to know later on what you were doing. So update can stay as it is, but insert, I will add another parameter or argument and call it inserts. And in execute, I will also add inserts like that. Okay, I think this is now alright. And here I need to, in our main, I need to change edit to insert. And now I can add a tuple, and our tuple will contain our name, date and admin, and I will call it as user. So user is equal to name, date and admin. And here, as I mentioned before, I have to convert date to integer. I will just surround it with int like that. Now I can add user right here, and this should work. So if I run our program now and type something in here and add, you can see our program didn't crash, but it doesn't have any new records. This is because we haven't refreshed our table. So if I exit our program and run it again, there should be another record we added. Yeah, there is. So next thing we need to do is refresh our table widget. So think of it, what we need to do to refresh everything. We could select our last record that we inserted and append it to our table widget, but I think that is easier way to do, to delete everything and show everything again, since we already have our load data function. So I will create another function which will be clear data, which doesn't mean to delete data from database, but only clear records from table widgets temporarily. So we will have to write a while loop, and inside here dlg dot name of our table widget, mine is just table widget, and then dot row count, so how many rows we have, and if we have more than 0 rows, we will be deleting our first row. So dlg dot table widget dot remove row at index 0. So we are removing first row until we have 0 rows. I think that makes sense. So let's try if it works. At the end of our function add user, I will call our clear data. So now if I run it and add another user, like this, when I click insert data, everything should be blank because I haven't called load data yet, just clear data. And as you can see, we have no users, so our clear data works correctly. Now I just have to call load data again, run it, and then I need to add another user, insert, and as you can see, it refreshes so fast that we see it as appending new element. So great, this works. Another thing I wanted to show you today is you can select here in table widget everything, but this is not very good in most cases. So I want to show you how to edit this table widget to be more nicer to look at. So you have to go to Qt Designer, click on table widget, and go here into properties of table widget and look to selection mode. I hope I will find it. Okay, selection mode, here it is, and change that to single selection, so you won't be able to select many columns. And then selection behavior, check select rows. The best way to show you what this changes mean is just to run our program again. And as you can see, if I click now, the whole row is selected and I can't check many rows. In some cases this is good, in some maybe not, but I find that pretty useful, especially when we will be deleting and editing specific user. You will want to see which user and which data is going to be deleted. Okay, so and this is our next video. So in next video I will show you how to edit our user and delete it. Until then, stay tuned and I'll see you in my next tutorial.